Well, hey, babe. Listen, it's JamiThatsMe here. Okay, welcome back to the channel, honey. We about to go ahead and get into this review for Real Housewives of Atlanta. Girl, I really hope that I took some good notes. I feel like I butchered my notes, but we're gonna get through it. Okay, we're gonna get through it from what I can recall, from what I wrote, and from what I can recall of the episode. Okay, so Kenya tells Sheree about Martell sliding into her DMs, and that's pretty much a continuation of last week's episode. Now, at some point when Monyetta and Kenya are having this conversation with Sheree, Martell Hope decides that he's going to walk over and join in on the conversation. And it appears that, Sheree clued him in when she could have told him, well, we're having a conversation, let me clear some things up, whatever, whatever. But I guess since the conversation was about Martell, she wanted to include him in on what the ladies was saying, okay? I believe Monyetta or Sheree, I really feel like it was Sheree, brought up the fact that he may have been caught out here in Atlanta with multiple women or whatever. And Martell was quick to deny that. He says that every time he comes to Atlanta, he's with Sheree. So the other woman or women are obviously getting the short end of the stick. And I'm like, I don't know if that was a good answer, but let's keep going. So then Monyetta's like, okay, so are you saying there's no longer any other, women? And he was like, no, what I'm saying is that there were no other women or women that existed, period. Okay. I've been kicking it with Sheree. So that's just where I'm at with that. All right. So I'm like, okay, well, cool. So let's go ahead and let's keep going. Meanwhile, you got Kandi and Courtney over there still going at it. And Kandi is mad because she felt like Sanya didn't get her no heads up or anything, right? As far as Courtney, like, I'm supposed to be your good girl. You should have more loyalty to me than you have to a newbie, and you didn't even give me a heads up that this lady even had an issue with me. Like, yikes, you told everybody but me. I see you, okay? So they end up arguing, Courtney and Kandi. They were going back and forth. They really were well, I feel like, to me, I feel like Courtney was doing a whole lot. I know a lot of people are enjoying the energy that Courtney brought because they felt like if she didn't offer anything, then we wouldn't have anything to talk about. No, we would be talking about Sheree now. Okay, we would be talking about something else. We didn't really need to talk about Courtney and Kandi, but Courtney came in doing a whole lot. And I just felt like she could have had that conversation with Kandi one at a different time, or she could have had that conversation much better than that. And it also gives, once I finally listened to Kandi speak on it from last week, I listened to it yesterday, and knowing that this lady was interviewed to come on the show, when she said that she's familiar with Kandi because she's worked with similar, they work with similar people or whatever. It definitely gives to me that Courtney came onto this show to do the fucking most to get camera time. That's just what it is. She came on the show to be extra and to get some camera time, and let me go ahead and come for Kandi. And it was just lame to me. You was taking shot, like, Kandi didn't even do nothing to you. You name dropped her name in an interview. Candy's trying to find out, who is this person name dropping my name? I'm not familiar with them. They saying that they've worked with us. So do y'all familiar with them? Like, have I crossed paths with them? Like, I ain't never seen this lady before. So she's just trying to check out to see who is this person. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think that Candy was doing anything extra when you were the one that name dropped her name first. You feel what I'm saying? But of course, the people that don't like Kandi is gonna make it a problem about Kandi. Say Kandi shouldn't have asked around, and she did ask around. And at the end of the day, Kandi didn't know that fucking lady. So for that lady to sit up there and have an interview with Real Housewives of Atlanta, hoping to get on the show, and then sit up, like, she could have said whatever she said and not said, "Oh yeah, I work with me and Kandi, have mutual friends or whatever. We work with similar people, whatever the case." She didn't have to, like, I don't even know the reasoning for that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just like, if she wanted to ask around, I would do the same damn thing. Like, do y'all know her? Because I mean, like, is she somebody I'm supposed to know? Like, do I not recall? Can somebody refresh my memory? Because she mentioned my name. She name dropped me, but I'm trying to remember, like, how I know her, because I don't know her like that. I don't know this lady. I don't think Kandi was taking a dig or anything. But Michelle probably took offense to it because she dropped that lady name in an interview, hoping that it was going to help her chances of getting on the show, whether it did or didn't. She's here now. And then you offended that Kandi saying that she don't know you? Are you okay? And then by the time you have the conversation with her, you got all this animosity built up. You over there throwing shade. I was one of the people that thought that you were worldwide. Yada, yada, yada. And her crowd that she brought, they were ghetto. Girl, it's giving, you were a distant hater. You were a distant hater, and now you're much closer than what you were, because now you're on this show. And I don't like that. And I'm not going to rock with that. And I wanted Kandi to headbutt her in this bitch. You know what I'm saying? But anywho, so they end up breaking up the argument or whatever. And Kandi, like I said, is still tripping off Sanya because Sanya let her walk into this mess instead of giving her a heads up. When Sanya was over there talking to Courtney, checking on her, she did I think she could have went to check on Kandi, not sure, but I know she went over there to Sheree. At first I thought it was Marlo rushing over there to Sheree, but it was actually Sanya running over there to Sheree. Some you missed it. Kandi tried to fight Courtney. And I don't like that narrative and how you ran over there and tried to say that bullshit to my Kandi tried to fight her, because to me it just felt like you immediately dismissed the actions of Courtney. Right? You dismissed that Courtney was giving Kandi, I want to fight energy, and Kandi was returning that type of energy back. And I'm glad that Kandi is starting to see Sanya for the girl that she is when it comes to this show. Because Kandi, I need you to understand, Sanya's loyalty is not with you. The loyalty is definitely with Sheree. And Sanya is messy, as most of them are, right? She made sure she ran over there, and then to tell Sheree you missed it, knowing that Sheree ain't featuring Kandi right now, like, yeah, I would not trust Sanya at all. I mean, I'm just telling you what I wouldn't do. But that's your good Judy that you want to take down to Disney World with you, so girl. Have fun. Good luck. Do what you want to do. So, anywho, once Manetta and Kenya heard this, they rushed over to Kandi and they wanted to get the scoop and find out what's going on. And Candi's telling them some of the story. Next thing you know, Sheree walks over with Courtney and Kenya said, no, excuse me. 1 second, Kandi. Wait a minute. I'm trying to understand. No. Why is she here? If my friend just got into it with her, why is she coming over here? What's going on? Okay, I don't think she should be over here. And of course, Sheree wanted to continue to talk about the issue, not because she cared about Kandi, but because she was being messy as hell. And I loved how Kandi said, "Girl, we don't have to revisit it right now. Girl, we don't have to." I say, "Yes, Kandi, shut it down. We don't have to revisit it right now." You know what's so funny to me, and I'm gonna skip to this because I'm thinking about it. Sanya, you sat up there when the ladies got ready to talk about the whole Martell situation. You got up getting ready to exit stage left. And when the ladies were like, "Where you're going," you sat up there and said, "It's my husband's party. It's all about him, yada, yada, yada." But just a few minutes ago, you was with the bullshit, I feel. You was all in the midst of what Kandi and Courtney had going on. So much so that you didn't care nothing about your husband, it being your husband party, because you ran over there to Sheree saying, "Girl, you missed it. You missed it." Kandi tried to fight Courtney, on some messy shit. And then now, all of a sudden, when the ladies want to talk about Martell or whatever the case is, you want to skip out on the plug now. And I wonder, why did you do that? Did you do that because you have true opinions about Martell and you did not want him to come up in that moment or something? Or what was it? I just wonder. Or because you like more closer with Sheree and you don't want to share those thoughts about him at this time, or what's really going on? Because I feel like if Mayetta and Kandi have heard things in Kenya about Martell, so have you. So you made sure to to exit stage left at an interesting time, but you was just with the bullshit not too long ago. So I don't know, fake. But let's keep going, okay? Now, Sheree talks about the ladies speaking on she and Martell and him dating someone in Atlanta. And then Kandi said, "Well, you did say if anything go down that you want to know." And Sheree said, "Yeah, I did say that. I did, and I'm gonna continue to say that. But what I'm letting you know is that I want to hear it when it comes with the facts. Okay, you can't just tell me a little piece, girl. I need the whole picture, and I need the receipts to come with it. Okay, so yeah, that's where I'm at with it. And it's like, Sheree, even if they gave you the whole picture on a platter with the receipt attached to it, girl, you're still not gonna care. Girl, you played a fool for 5 years with a nigga that was in prison on lockdown, saving your cootie for him, only for him to get out and you sit up there and act like it wasn't good to you at all. You played dumb enough long enough that it didn't matter what somebody would have presented to you about the person. You're still going to ride because you feel so desperate to get a man. And unfortunately, out of all of the men that you have dated, Martell is probably a better candidate in comparison to those men. Okay, especially appearance wise, but he is definitely not no trophy and nothing to brag about. But when it comes to what's on your arm and all this and that, like, it's definitely given similar to dudes. Dudes get with these girls just to have them on their arm to brag, like, look at what I got, and it's the same thing with Sheree. You know what I'm saying? So, girl, you wasn't gonna hear what nobody had to say about him anyway, because you weren't trying to hear shit they was trying to say about oh boy, Tyrone for real either. So, what is going on? So, whew, what else happened? Let's see. Sanya, that's when Sanya decides that she finna get up and leave somebody's her husband's birthday. She wanna focus on that. Girl, but you should have been left in, bitch. Anyway, so Martell walks over right when Kenya and Sheree are talking, and she's showing the phone and showing the text messages, and he walks over into the conversation. And see, this for me, I can't consider what Sheree is saying about Martell being ambushed, because I feel like when he came over, true enough, we are discussing him, but I feel like because it's women discussing him, I mean, so I'm in between, because I feel like the conversation is about him. So of course it's like he should be a part. So y'all can go ahead and get some clear answers. But at the same time, it's giving, you could have said, I'll tell you about it later, whatever. This ain't even the time or place, whatever. But for you to sit up there and act like the man was ambushed, that's a lie. And that's not what that was. And I'm not going to let nobody sit up there and make it seem like that's what it was. That's not how I received that. When I watched the TV screen, I didn't get that. Okay. Because ambush for me is when all of these ladies coming at you saying this, that. That's giving an ambush, girl, and that's not what happened. Okay, so we can stop that. But Martell walks over, and I feel like he walked over aggressive immediately. Like, what's this? Oh, this you? That's you? Because it seems like he may have already been privy to some stuff when he walked over. Anyway, so he was like, oh, that's you? You know, the way he was coming at Kenya. And then he says, yeah, go through her phone. I bet she probably accept everybody messages. Go through her phone. Now, how I digested what Martell said, Martell sounded like he was a bit butthurt that Kenya answered everybody's message but his. That's what I got from it. Like, you was bothered by that, high key. But Kenya was saying that he was trying to label her as some type of, or whatever the case was, if she accepts everybody's messages. And I'm like, I guess that could have been it. I don't know. But I took it as him still being butthurt by the fact that you never answered the message, period. Okay. So then I also felt like he was deflecting. We're talking about you, my dear. We're talking about you. We're not talking about other messages and things that she has going on. We're talking about you, okay? And what you did in that moment was a moment for you to deflect and shift the conversation from being about you DMing this woman to who else has DM'd her and whether she's accepted their messages. Baby, they're not the ones up for conversation at this moment, okay? And not only did you do that, but you did that and you walked off. So what is it really giving? You know what I'm saying? Only for you to walk off, pull out your phone, realize that you did message her, walk back up there and say, oh, I am so sorry. I sure did message your ass. I sure did. I am so sorry. I sure did do this shit. My bad, man. I did do that shit. Here it is right here. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Y'all look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Now, Kenya did say at least 6 months ago, meaning at the least. At the most could have been damn 3 years, right? But I do believe that Kenya knew that it's probably been over a year since he messaged her. That's what I do think. But he did go on to say, once he looked at when it was back in 2020. Okay, this incident took place in 2022. Yeah, so yeah, it was probably like roughly like 2 years in between the time frame that he messaged her to the time that it was addressed. And he says it was 2 years ago, and I don't give a fuck if I was trying to fuck you 2 years ago. Who the fuck? Excuse me? You want to run that? This is where the disrespect comes in. All you had to say was, I hear you, Kenya, but it was 2 years ago. It really wasn't that deep. And I wasn't Whatever he was going to say, he could have just walked off. But I don't care if I was trying to fuck you 2 years ago. Like, he does not know how to handle heat at all. It was 2 years ago. That definitely would have mattered if you tried to smash one of her friends 2 years ago. Like, that would have mattered. You may not have cared, just like you don't care about this message right here. And ain't nobody finna tell me nothing different, you know. By saying, well, Kenya, y'all know she like to overhype stuff and yada, 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 like, you know, making it seem like he tried to holler at her and talk to her. BITCH, me, myself, I've gotten enough DMs from men to know when they're trying to start a conversation to see where else it's going to go. okay? And y'all sat up there, some of y'all, and listened to Kandi speak on it. And when she talked about her cousin, because I do remember that story, because I talked about that, about how he was trying to, I guess, connect with her cousin, or he was caught out with a whole nother woman. It was supposed to be a whole PR scheme surrounding that. And then shortly after that, he's caught out here with Sheree. So if y'all want me to really believe that Martell just DM'd her on a whim to say thank you for the comments that you had to say about whatever, y'all are dumb as fuck. And I'm not going to agree to it. Sorry. It's giving, let me start a conversation. And if she would have responded, they would have went back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, until he could probably, get something out of that. Develop something out of that. So, like, y'all can miss me with all of that SHI, for real, for real. But anywho, so what was interesting was that on Kenya's end, Martell's messages were not there. Okay. On his end, the messages were there. Now, I don't know if that was his actual DM or if that was a screenshot that he showed us, that he went and found or something to show that he did message. I don't know. If he pulled it up from his actual DM. What I can confirm is we saw Kenya open the message from her Instagram in her request tab that showed Martell did message her. And she had neither accepted it nor declined it. Okay. Once that happened, Kandi says accept it. And I wish Kandi would have never told her to accept it. That way she could have accepted it in front of Sheree. Sheree would have thought that a message was indeed sent, but it also said deleted. Okay. So Sheree would have saw that from Kenya's phone had Kandi not been so eager to press accept, press that button. We want to see press it. Like, girl, you could see the message without even accepting it to respond, okay? But nothing was there, so that's why they pressed accept, okay? But that was interesting because on Kenya's end, it wasn't there, but on Martell's end, it was there. And I believe he tried to say that Kenya deleted it, but she never did. Anybody going with that there, we know y'all silly and choosing not to pay attention, because we just saw them record it and open up her phone and literally show us that the message was in her request tab and she had to request it. And on IG, I have messages from a year ago of people that have messaged me that I have not responded to, that I don't follow, and I have not accepted them, and they still sitting there. So for me, and maybe hers is different because she got the check mark or verified or whatever, but I can only speak from what I've experienced on Instagram. And I ain't have nobody that sent me no message that was a requested message for me to accept or decline, and it's gone all of a sudden. Nah, the only way that would happen is if it was like they may have sent like a video or something like that. I think if it's like a video or something, but just a flat out message like, "Hey, how you doing?" or "I like your whatever." Like, no, it's still sitting there. Okay. What else did I want to say about that? So basically, she's not deleting that. In addition to that, she cannot delete anything. If me and you are having dialogue, or even if we not, if you send me a message saying, "Hey Jamie, what's up?" I cannot delete that message, that particular text. I cannot delete that. If I say, "I'm good, how are you?" and you say, "Oh, I'm doing okay," yada yada, I cannot delete, "Hey Jamie, how you doing?" and "Oh, I'm doing okay." So I cannot delete that. What I can delete is the overall message thread, the whole thread gone. I could delete that, but I cannot delete individual messages out of my message thing. Okay. Same thing with Kenya. Okay. It was still sitting there. Once she accepted it, it probably went to her general tab on Instagram and it was just sitting there, but no message was there. So I don't even know what he was talking about. Somebody, she deleted it on her end. How the fuck did she do that? That's what you did. But what's interesting is that you still had it on your phone. So then my question becomes, was that like a screenshot or what? Or was that your actual DM that you were in? Now, when Martell says something slick to Kenya and says, "I don't care if I tried to fuck you 2 years ago," first of all, Sheree, while you're trying to jump down Kenya's back, you need to take heed to what he's saying. Because if he had a friend or y'all had a mutual friend that he tried to fuck 2 years ago, he doesn't care. He doesn't care who that person is to you. Okay. So when he says this to Kenya and then walks off or whatever, Kenya said, "Excuse me? Like, you want to run that? Excuse me? Like, what? What's that?" So then she says Martell has the same energy as Bob. And she was not lying. He has the same energy as Bob. He got the same energy as Tyrone, because those are the type of men that Sheree often likes to pick. Hello? So Kenya was not lying. When Bob dragged the out her and said something like, did I choke you or something? I think it was something that was in a van. I think they did a flashback and he was talking about, did he choke her out or whatever the case was. Kenya had to call him out and say, that ain't cool. When Tyrone left you up there with egg on your face, looking dumb as hell outside, freezing at that, you called Kenya and Kenya was right there by your side. So I feel like Kenya is coming from a place of being a protective friend of Sheree. That's where I think that that's the angle that she's coming at. And she's already seen Martell's kind. She already see what he's about, what he's up to. You've done this to this person, whatever. I know my girl don't do a good job at picking, and she don't really watch your show like that, but I've seen your show. And what you did to this lady, you're going to sit up there and you're going to do it to her. And how I know that is because your behavior has yet to change. So what else is going on? And yeah, so I'm with her. Like, girl, I'm with her. So Sheree, so Kenya pretty much snapped on Martell and said something like, once a cheater, always a cheater. You fucking something, she said. And I feel like Kenya had every right to cuss at him after he had just cussed at her. Okay, on more than one occasion as he was walking off. So if you want to throw cuss words, baby, let's throw them then. Let's get at it then. And then Sheree just felt like, if it's old, then why bring it up? Like, why you ain't bring it up a long time ago? First of all, y'all weren't even dating around that time for her to bring it up. In addition to that, I feel like if you wanted her to bring it up at the reunion or anything, girl, first of all, we all thought that the shit was fake anyway, and we was not expecting the shit to last longer than 2 months, to be honest. And it's still lasting. So yeah, she told you now. On camera, off camera, it would not have mattered when or how she told you. You wouldn't have liked it either way it go. Period. Okay, so that's what's going to happen. And guess what? It's going to be more rumors. And you know the gag for me is, Sheree, you look stupid as fuck. And I don't care about nothing these people be out here talking about. Find your people. Find your people. Because I do not give a damn. I really don't. The gag for me is that you being so protective for a trash ass NIGGA that's on a whole. First of all, really not even your nickel. Let's be very clear about that. Y'all saying that y'all official, but y'all really dating. Like, y'all not officially exclusive or in a relationship like that. Y'all just dating. And you over here going to bat for a man that was literally on another show being annoyed by the fact that you called. What? When the friend, you over there telling everybody on this show, oh my God, we're dating, that's my boo, that's my man, da 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 da. Then you even threw around the word cheating in the confessional. First of all, man, how can he cheat if he's not yours? Y'all just dating, right? That's just what y'all not like exclusively only dating each other. So what are you talking about? Meanwhile, he's on the other show sitting up there saying, oh, well, we just friends. Like, we just cool. La da 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 da, yada yada yada. Girl, he over there downplaying the fuck out you. But you over here on this show, girl, over here acting like my man, and Kenya telling you your man ain't shit, but you don't want to hear it. But you sitting up there talking about how you've watched the show, and from the previews of his show, you said something like, I mean, she cheated on him too. I watched you guys' show. I seen a little bit, and we know that she's cheated on him too. So since you watched the show, Big Bird, have you sat up here and watched the fact that he ain't been claiming you like that, ma'am? Huh? And you want to sit up here and be mad at Kenya? And then y'all want to create these narratives talking about why does she gets to keep calling these black men aggressive? First of all, if these black men is aggressive, then bitch, that's what the fuck it is. You expect her not to call them aggressive if they are? If that is her perception of it, she's going to do that. You feel what I'm saying? She's going to do that. And I know a lot of people wanted her to like snap off on Mark like that. I would have loved to have seen it. I feel like the reason she did it is because that's her child's dad. And she over there teetering the line and wants her kid to have both parents involved because she didn't have her mama involved. So she don't want that for her daughter. So she be tiptoeing, teetering the damn line when it comes to him out of the interest for her daughter. So more than anything, that's more than likely why she ain't dog cuss his ass out like she should have. But let's be very clear here. Y'all acting like that lady just be jumping out there, just be saying stuff about these men. First of all, she was having a conversation with Sheree. About Martell, yes. Martell came into the situation, could have handled it much better, as he could have so many other situations. Like, he just went off on Melody's mama at his child's birthday party. Okay. So anywho, he could have handled that so much better. But because he cussed at Kenya, in my personal opinion, had every right to cuss back at him and give him that same energy after he disrespected her on more than one occasion. Okay. So that's just what I think. Last year, Sanya, you so whack and fake, want to sit up there and talk about stuff. Oh yeah, last year she referred to Ross as aggressive. First of all, Ross, you should have took a page out the other men's book, primarily Ty, who has been here for a very long periodically time. Okay, Ty sits his ass back. He will address things as necessary, but primarily he lets the women handle their business. You saw when Kandi was getting into it with Courtney, where was Ty? Off to the side. He will step in as necessary to protect his wife. But all of that, like, yo, to stop with my wife or whatever the case is, baby, this is y'all first time being on the show. On this show, we know you had one before, but it's a whole different ball game. These women are talking. You could have just got up and went ahead and walked off. So when you said all of that, the crazy thing is Kenya said what a lot of the other ladies was thinking, but then y'all want to focus in on what she said and how she's feeling. Or at least not what she said, but what he said. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, y'all mad that she called that man aggressive. Like, that's what it was. When nobody even talking to you, I was talking to your wife. You know? And stay out of women's business. Ain't that's what Nene told Peter? Stay out of women's business. You're a bitch. And I would hate for that to be y'all men. But because y'all don't like Kenya, y'all gonna try and find a reason to say something. And you know the funniest part, which is the gag for me, and a lot of people have a lot of commentary or thoughts, not so much as commentary, but tweets and things, comments about Kenya and how she handled this situation. And it's funny because when other people check them in the comments about Martell's character, they say, well, I haven't watched Martell's show. And I'm like, and I bet you if you did, seen even just one episode, girl, you would be changing your opinion. Okay. So, I mean, I can't really fault them because they're just watching this show blindly. But the people that have seen his other show get way more context, and it just makes sense when they're, bickering and battling. Some people feel like it's a shared fault. They feel like it's the Kenya fault and it's the Martell fault. And y'all, no, girl, not riding with you on it, not on the train you can sell off, okay? It's definitely going to be on Martell for me, okay? So even though Kenya brought that tea and that information to the front, he ain't have to come at that lady like that. And when she gave him the energy right back, then now it's the problem. Girl, what? No, ma'am. Let's keep going. So anywho, Martell gets in the car. And when he gets in the car with Sheree, he gaslights, in my personal opinion, because he sits up there and says that, I guess he wanted to say he liked everybody or whatever, but he has a problem. Sometimes he don't like how people sat up there and lied on him. And I said, dear heart, what was the lie? Who lied on you? What was the lie? What was the lie? Let the people know what the lie was. Because Kenya said that you DM'd her. Did you not come back and confirm that you did? So what exactly was the lie? And you have been in Atlanta with other women. So what's the lie? What are you talking about? What's the lie? What's the lie? Right. Girl, get the fuck out of here. So Drew went to see her daddy. And we learned that her dad has been in the nursing home. So y'all know she wasn't able to attend the party because she said that, or her husband said it was a family crisis. So her dad is now in a nursing home. He has Alzheimer's. And I don't know if it's Alzheimer's. I always say Alzheimer's, but I think it's Alzheimer's. Like, what is he? Don't quote me, y'all. Y'all correct me in the comments because that's just how y'all is, honey. But anywho, so it was like a family emergency. She took her two oldest sons and they went to, check on her dad, all right? From that moment, she talked about playing the music that she's done for her dad and how he seemed to be so proud of her. And she wants to lean more into that when it comes to her career. While at the house, of course, Ralph updated her on the party because he went, on behalf of both of them. And he lets her know that Courtney, the new girl, happens to be his cousin. And Courtney, the new girl, also was the one that got into it with Kandi. Okay. Ralph, I'm gonna need you not to hold on or ride off of this whole cousin situation. That's my cousin, whatever you doing. Because we already know how she'll name drop and make it seem like she know Kandi when she don't. And then when Kandi tries to fact check or whatever, Kandi is the problem. So, you could chill out on that whole my cousin, my cousin, my cousin, my cousin. Like, y'all just met. Y'all been cousins for less than 24 hours. Calm down, all right? Sanya and Kandi. Sanya tells her that Ralph is ready to have, I'm sorry, not Ralph, but Ross is ready to have the house to himself, and or to their selves, them and their child. And I believe it. It's a lot of people in that house. It's a lot of folks to deal with, and I don't blame him on that. I don't like that she kind of, in my opinion, dismissed his feelings about it, because of what it is that she wants. And I just don't think that's fair when he's been operating in the space of what it is that you want for many years. This ain't y'all first time being on reality TV, and he's always been forced to be around your family and operate in the setting in which you want, right? And your way of making sure your family stayed around was by employing all of them. Well, it's giving that they're not necessarily appreciative of you employing them. So I need you to release it and let it go and stop trying to hold on to your family. Like, they're going to always be your family, but it's time for them to go on and get their own thing. Like, your sister legit called you a dingbat for no reason last week, all because you're talking and addressing things with her husband. And honestly, the whole time you trying to help her husband. He's your assistant. You're not helping him necessarily when it comes to real estate. He needs to jump out there and connect with his own real estate people. So I don't know how he's helping you organize your schedule and assist you with bookings and plans and stuff, and how that's supposed to translate into real estate or stuff. I'm not sure about that, but we're at a place where you need to start letting them go. She said, well, we told them a year to a 2 year, and we're nowhere near that 2 year mark. So I don't see what the big conversation is about. Girl, the big conversation is about y'all getting them prepared to be gone by that 2 year mark. Cause y'all like a year and a half there, somewhere up in there, girl. That's what it's for. And you're gonna have to accept that. Your mama don't even want to be there. Your mama wants to be down in Florida. And I'm sure your daddy gonna go where your mama at. So you just gonna have to bite that bullet and grow up. Like, put your big girl panties on and just be okay. Like, it ain't like they won't have access to your home and can't always come through, But I think that now it is time for you and Ross to just have some y'all time. Like, come on. So anywho, what else? So Kandi speaks on Todd and how Todd has been wanting more support from her when it comes to his project. And for me personally, I feel like Todd is owed that. I do. I feel like Todd is owed her support. Not that she doesn't support him, but I do feel like Todd goes all in for Kandi. And it's so funny because a lot of people like to drag Todd and make it seem like Todd wouldn't have a lot of the things that he has if it wasn't for Kandi, only for us to find out Kandi don't even support him in that same capacity. He really be out here like high key getting it out the mud in a sense, right? Even though he already had connects before her because he was already working in television, prior to Kandi. But still, I feel like that's owed to him. Like, give that man that support. And it's no disrespect or shade to Kandi, but girl, is spoofs really paying you, or is it something that you're doing for full on enjoyment? Because if you're doing these activities that's not really running no revenue for you, just stuff that you want to post on your Instagram, then I feel like those things should not be priority. The time that you schedule to go and do a spoof, girl, what? Like, that's time that you could be scheduling to assist Todd with developing this movie so y'all can actually get to some money and go and do this or go and do that, is what I think. So she just needs to look at her schedule and rework her schedule. And I feel like the Candy Coated Click or whoever Don Juan, whoever her team is, I don't know if they have these conversations with her, but they definitely need to be on her head top and making sure that she's carving in family time and she's not over capacity on her schedule with other things that don't include them and her working with Todd. So yeah, I think that she needs to make that also. She needs to, filter that in more priority with work with Todd for sure. I do think that he deserved that. What else? Sanya talks with Kandi about Courtney and what she had to say about first of all, she talks to Kandi about Courtney and they have that whole conversation, and Candy's like, I didn't like how she was bobblehead and did it. Like, Courtney, baby, you was doing a lie. You was doing a lie. I would love to like you. I would. You know what I'm saying? And it doesn't mean that I don't have to like you. Right now, I am definitely on the low end of the stick. But you could turn things around come episode 6 or something. Who knows? It's a lot of episodes, and I might end up liking you at a later time. But you was dead ass wrong for how you approached it. And I didn't like specifically when you sat up there and apologized to Kandi and then turned around and said, because I don't have to be a clout chaser, doing all this neck stuff and all of that. And it's like, well, girl, that defeats the purpose of you apologizing just now. Are you okay? Hello? Are you okay? Right? So, anywho, let's keep going. So, Kandi, so Sanya goes on to tell Kandi about, well, I had just met her the other day over at Sheree's house, da 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 da, blah blah blah, whatever, whatever. And this is when Sanya decided to tell Kandi about how Courtney was like, oh, well, she said when she had like she had did an event somewhere or whatever, and I guess she was gonna do the same one the next week. So when you promoted it the very next week, the crowd was ghetto, or whatever the case was. And so I loved how Kandi called Sonya's card and said, well, let me ask you something, baby. Okay. When she said those things about me, what did you say? In what way did you have my back? Girl, Sanya legit sat in Kandi's face and lied and said, well, I told her Kandi is my girl, yada, yada, yada. And, y'all should have a conversation. Girl, the flashback was giving that you were laughing and that you thought it was funny. And we never heard you say Kandi's your girl and that they need to have a conversation. So when did they play that part, ma'am? Girl, I loved how Kandi ate her up. Then got in the confessional and said, I don't believe Sanya. I believe how she's over there hanging with Sheree, hanging with Marlo. When they over there talking about me, she definitely gets her chuckle on. Yes, Kandi, she does. And I need you to understand and pay attention to where her loyalty lies, because it's not with you, dear. The way she ran over there to Sheree saying, Sheree, you missed it. You missed it. Kandi was about to fight Courtney. You missed it. Okay, so that's not, no, girl, be mindful. I don't know about her. I don't know. Okay. Let's keep going. Kandi and Todd. So he wants to have this Mexican restaurant, and they had it for years. I'm glad. I mean, he's been wanting it for years. So I'm glad they did that flashback to 3 years ago, because I remember when they went into that actual location that he wanted to put the Mexican restaurant, and it never opened. Blaze ended up opening up before the Mexican one. So Todd says that he wants to open the Mexican restaurant, and Kandi's trying to find out why. Like, why you want to open this restaurant? Like, what is that about? Like, what's that? And she was like, because I've made the most money that I've made in my career by opening restaurants. She said, so you want to do it for the money? Like, that's what you want to do? Oh, okay. Like, I'm afraid Ty wants to only open up more restaurants because of the money. Duh. Ain't that's why y'all do everything that y'all do, Kandi? Ain't that's why y'all do everything that y'all do? Girl, you get residual money off bedroom candy. Hello, girl, y'all still get money off OLG, Real Housewives of Atlanta. Y'all be doing all these different commercials that be going along with the Real Housewives of Atlanta. Okay, then y'all I think they could have did a KFC one last year. It was a Google Pixel one or something like that. Like, girl, you be over there getting to the bag in all kind of ways. You over there doing a la carte, you doing the shy, you doing a lot of other stuff. You got these 2 stage plays or whatever that you was doing, girl. Everything y'all do is to get to the bag. So for you to try and play that man and be on some, I think he wants to do it for the bag. Duh. He has always talked about securing coins and all this and that for his kids. Like, yeah, and he's enjoying some of it while he got it too. So, I mean, what is the issue here? I don't know, Kandi. It seems like you're just trying to find an issue for him to not want to go all in on some stuff, so that you're not required to have to show up for him, and you can kind of like, majority of the time, so you can focus on what it is that you want to focus on. Like, I don't know, because I feel like you think now that you're promising to like support him more, you're thinking, to me at least how it's looking, the more he adds to his plate is then now going to be more added to your plate that you're gonna have to show up for. And that's why I feel like you're trying to discredit some stuff. And I'm like, girl, what is he talking about? You want to do it for the money, so that's it. Like, girl, ain't that's what y'all doing now? Anywho, so her little cousin, I believe his name is Melvin, he showed up. And y'all know Melvin ended up getting shot in the arm because of an employee that they alleged came into the job workplace and was drunk, got into it with Melvin, and ended up shooting Melvin when they went outside. I guess had an argument. I don't know. I thought everything happened inside or whatever, but it resulted in him getting popped. So the producer came to the front and was like, hey, we're not going to talk about the elephant in the room. And Kandi said, no, we're not going to talk about that. Now, I don't know why you wouldn't talk about that. And then Todd was quick to throw in there, yeah, because everything is legal. And I'm like, what the hell that's supposed to mean? I feel like we have talked about other things that's been legal. Have we not? In Housewives history, haven't we talked about other things that's been legal? So it's nothing for y'all to talk about that. I think Kandi just didn't want to bring additional negative attention, excuse me, to her restaurants. I think that, and I mean, and I understand that, but I mean, it is what it is. It's the reality, for real, for real. You know, I mean, she did talk about it in her confessional, but I don't see what was wrong with them talking about it right then, unless, I mean, is Melvin about to sue the guy, you know, for pain and suffering or whatever? He's like, I mean, what's the intricate parts of the lawsuit as to why y'all could not talk about it in that moment? That's what I was unclear about. Okay, so y'all leave y'all thoughts in the comments on that. Now, Kenya and Sheree. Okay, so first of all, girl, I thought it was funny that they gonna go to ecom spaces and sit up there and talk about how this is Sheree's distribution center. And I said, bitch, that is not her distribution center. That's multiple companies' distribution center. As you pay your monthly fee for other folks to fulfill your damn orders, girl, it's what it's giving. Okay, that's what it is. I'm like, girl, y'all be over here trying to overhype Sheree. But it's okay, girl. Do your thing. We just glad she by Sheree is here. But I will never buy anything from you because what I want from you is never in stock. And I feel a way about it. But get it together. Hopefully you'll have it in order before the year is out. And I'll place my order too. But anywho, so they talked about when Kenya got there. Of course, they talked about Roy, who Kenya has been dating. We also met another young lady, and I can't think of her name. Kenya and her went and hung out. She's an NFL player's wife. They played tennis or whatever with their daughters. It was such a cute moment. And it was this new lady, and she was talking about Roy and how he's a vibe. And you know what's funny? I had to realize I wasn't sure, but when I don't know if Kenya said it or if I saw it somewhere, but when they said that it was the man that almost killed me crazy, I remember him now because he tried to talk to me. And this was a few years ago. Nothing major. Girls thought, I'll be getting mad at me, girl, like you, like Sheree had got mad at you. But anywho, like he does like black women alike. He's a really cool guy. I don't even know how we met each other. I don't even know how we met each other. Where did I meet him at? I don't know, but I definitely remember the last time he and I talked was when I was, and it was the beginning part of Kill Me Crazy, like opening up and popping up in different places in Atlanta. But we were over in the Buckhead restaurant that he owned, and I took two of my coworkers with me, and we were in there sitting down, you know what I'm saying, chilling, talking, whatever. He was giving us free stuff or whatever like that. Where I think it was the caboose that they had him, honey. It was a little bit of that caboose, but this was before I had met my man. But cool ass dude. He wanted to take me to Lake Lanier, like me and my friends. Let's hang out, da 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 da, whatever. You know, doing a little drop. You know, bragging a little bit, talking about how he stayed in one of the high rises, top floor, this, that, and the other, whoop, whoop, whoop. And I mean, he was a vibe. He was cool. But girl, what was bothering me? And don't be mad, cause I'm just telling my story. I'm just telling my story, girl. It was the scratching of the balls for me. I was like, what is going on over here? What is that? It was just like, and then the slick trying to scratch it. And I'm just like, are you okay? Like, what is happening here with the scratch? I see you. I see what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? You feel me? But he was a nice guy. You know, he wants to hang out and stuff, whatever. Wanted to say, he was like, you ever been to Lake Lanier? I was like, nah. He was like, yeah, we should go one Saturday, whatever. Bring your friends. You know what I'm saying? I got a yacht. Da 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 da. We can do this, that. And I'm like, yo, bruh, I'm never going near Lake Lanier ever. And I don't even know how we stopped talking. I think I started to ignore him because that itch, that scratch kind of was like, girl, no ma'am. No ma'am. No ma'am. But my homegirls, I wonder if they remember that. I'm sure they do. I'm sure they do. I'm sure they do remember that. Because it was just us three. Nobody was in there. I mean, his workers were in there or whatever. And I think he talked about that too, like hiring people and stuff. And he was showing me his I guess like I would say building plans, I suppose, because he was getting ready to open up some new locations, and he was like, this is what it looks like, and da-da-da. So real cool guy, definitely likes black women. It was just a little itch or something that was going on for me. And yeah, you know what I'm saying? So I mean, I hope Kenya's having fun. He probably got the itch right now. You know what I'm saying? And it's no shade. And my friends were with me. You know what I'm saying? They even noticed that. But girl, yeah, it was what it was. You know what I'm saying? So cool. I always wondered if I still had his number, girl. It's probably changed by now. But girl, I'm quick to delete folks though. So girl, I probably didn't even say the damn number. But anywho, it's facts, okay? But let's keep going. Let's keep going. Congrats, Miss Kenya. You seem to be having a great time. He's not a bad looking guy at all. He's a very cool guy. Do not get me wrong. Nice guy. All of that, okay? So have fun. But anywho, let's get to Martell because they spoke on Martell. We learned that Martell is a Capricorn. And my question is Martell, I want to look this up, and I meant to do this earlier. Martell, are you a January Capricorn or are you a December Capricorn? Girl, he is a January Capricorn. Let me be. Y'all know how I feel about them Capricorns, and I have two in my family, and they're not bad people. Do not get me wrong, they're not. But they have a way about them that I don't like. I mean, you have some that you just I mean, of course they have that side that you love, but then that side they have that other side that you see, and it's just like, bitch, I don't like you for real. Like, I don't know, but maybe that'll change in the future. But let's go ahead and keep going. So Kenya tells Sheree about the DM, etc. So they're talking, and Sheree says that Martell felt like he was ambushed, which I feel like you can't say that he was ambushed because I truly don't feel like all those ladies was over in his face saying da 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 da. I don't feel like he was really ambushed by information that he was able to go and pull up and deflect or whatever, debunk or whatever the fuck he did. Okay. What else happened? Kenya says that she didn't think about I think Sheree asked her like why she didn't mention it a long time ago. And Kenya said something like, well, I didn't think about it until I saw y'all together. When y'all said it was official or whatever. And I said, now Kenya, I'm not with you on that part. Because you did think about it before then. You did, because you had the conversation with Monietta and with Kandi. So you did think about it before that time. But I guess you didn't think to bring it up at that time until you saw them. Meaning you were going to bring it up, but you weren't going to bring it up then. Right. But after you knew Monietta said what she said or whatever, that's when you let the floodgates open. So it is what it is. Okay. Sheree felt like it was before her, so it didn't need to come up. Okay. And I felt like that Kenya didn't mention it before because one, she didn't think that y'all motherfuckers was gonna last this long. And two, I feel like what other people had learned about him played a factor into her also. Like, let me go ahead and let her know this as well, okay? Just so we can go and get this over with, because I don't need nobody throwing up none of my stuff trying to make it a whole story, and I could just tell her what it was, okay? So, anywho, so Sheree is literally, in my opinion, excusing Martell's actions as she has with every man that she was sprung on. Sheree says she's trying to make something out of nothing, meaning saying that Kenya is, and I don't think that she was. She was just telling you. I think you made something out of nothing, but the biggest thing to it, in all honesty, was the rumor that Monietta came with you with, that he's been seen out here with a lot of ladies, okay? I think that was probably bigger than just the DM to me. What else? Then she tells Kenya that she overreacted in so many words, telling her like, girl, no, like if somebody said that to me, then I would not have thought about it like that. I wouldn't. And I'm like, nigga, that's you. That's you. You would not have responded that way if he told you to open up your messages and you probably accepted everybody's messages. That's how you would have responded. Don't tell me how I should have or whatever. Don't tell me that. What else? What I did not like was the fact that they were overlooking the fact that he said to Kenya that he did not care if he tried to fuck her 2 years ago. And what's so funny to me is Sheree was able to take those words and repeat back to Sanya that Martell told Kenya that he didn't care if it was 2 years ago and he tried to F her. But then when Kenya brought up things like, oh, Martell said this and he did that, Sheree said, oh, I don't remember that. Oh, I didn't see that. Oh, I don't know about that. Girl, what? Are you okay? But you remember that part, though. And you had a front row seat of everything. How you saw everything, but you only saw what happened to him and you didn't see what happened to her. Okay. Anywho, and I felt like he was just in Kenya's face as much as Kenya was in his, but she never really got the opportunity to be in his face because everybody got in between them. Martell at some point was standing right next to Kenya. So why are you trying to make this a thing about her being in his face? And then why are you trying to bring back that narrative of Kenya always do this and that to other people's husbands and this and that? Is it because she ain't got one? You can't say that it ain't because she ain't got no man, because she's dating another man. So now what you trying to do is bring race into it or whatever and say we got to stop putting these labels on our black men and this and that. Well, then black men also got to stop doing bullshit to get those labels. So what are we really talking about? So it's okay for him to show his ass and she just supposed to not say nothing? Girl, Kenya will never put him in the same category as Mark. She will never. And I know people want her to go off on Mark and give him the same energy. She will never. As long as Miss Brooklyn is there, she's not going to do it. So y'all might as well let it go, because she's going to be looking at that situation like that's her dad. And as she gets older, she's likely not going to want to have nothing to trace back to her daughter of how she dragged out her daddy or whatever. So that's why she's not going as hard on him as I would love for her to. Okay? Because he's trash. Talking about something, he ain't want nothing from Kenya and this and that. And I think last season he said some, not last season, it was a few seasons ago, when he said, take it, I'll build it all over again. Whatever it was, and you trying to get access to her company, when he trying to get access to her house, like just a trash ass NIGGA. And she really should read him for fucking filth, but whatever. So that's why. Anywho, Kenya tell Sheree, stop doing this. Like, don't do this to me. Like, don't be trying to flip it. Like, don't do that. Stop that. And she was. And Sheree was like, I'm not trying to flip it. And I'm like, girl, you are. I literally wrote before Kenya even said that. I'm like, why are you trying to flip this on her? And then trying to talk about black men, her labeling black men as aggressive. Yeah, it is gonna come off as aggressive, especially if I'm not talking to you. And then you jump into a conversation and then you say sideways shit to me and then you have a certain tone. Yeah. I said it. So what's going on? And that would apply for a man or a woman. So what's going on? You want her to say nothing? Anywho, Sheree is flipping this on Kenya instead of also holding Martell accountable for how he should or should not handle her friends. Because Kenya, to me, really didn't say anything aside from him messaging her. I feel like Monyetta said something bigger than that, which was accusing your man of being out here in the streets with other women. You should be more mad about that. You know what I'm saying? So, girl, I don't care what y'all talking about, girl. I'm over here leaning on Miss Kenya's side. So y'all can miss me with all of that, because I can't wait to see the comments. I'm probably not going to read them, but some of y'all ready to get in the comments, tip-tappity type, and talk about some. I mean, I know we don't like Martell, and I know he might be problematic, but let's be honest. Kenya, yada, yada, yada. No, bitch. Let's be honest and focus on Martell, because that's where it's at, period. Okay? That's where it's at. And he mad that he slick got caught. And he also mad that lady never responded to his ass too. Which is why he said something about some, oh, well, with them messages, check them. She probably answered everybody. You mad, one, that she didn't that she didn't answer your message. And two, if you deleted your message but took a screenshot of it and that's what you showed, if you deleted your message, it just makes so much sense to some of the people that, well, it was one person in my comments that said, shoot, if I message somebody and they don't respond, then I'm going to delete it. You sound dumb, because it's really giving that your ego is bruised. And if that is indeed true, which is what exactly I believe, that makes sense. And that's definitely on brand for Martell. The ego is bruised. And you felt the way that she wasn't responding to your ass. You feel what I'm saying? But I'm going to let y'all do what y'all want to do with it, girl. Thanks for watching. Make sure you go ahead and hit that like button when you come through, girl. And I will catch you guys in the next one. Okay? Bye-bye.